Formatting data makes it look better and makes it easier to read. The things I've done on the example in the background are change the font, the alignment of writing, and also applied a wrap to the headings. I've also added some colour and some borders, and I'd like to show you how to use the freeze panes feature. But we'll start with a completely plain data sheet, and first things first, change the font. So I'm going to click in the top left hand corner next to the column A and above row 1 to select everything on the worksheet. Next, go up to the font drop down options. I'll choose another font that I like, and I'm also going to increase the font size very slightly to aid readability. So that looks good already. You'll notice that some headings don't quite fit in the columns. You can actually adjust the width of a column by clicking between the letters at the top of the column. So between D and E allows me to drag column D a bit wider, so you can see it says ICT class. Now with columns E, F and G, the result columns, I'd actually like them to be a bit narrower because these numbers don't need so much space. So I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to click between E and F and drag it narrower. But now I can't read the heading. So the solution to that is to use the wrap text feature. So I'll hover over that so you can see what it does. It basically puts the writing on different lines. Now it doesn't look great at the moment, but if I were to use the center text option, I think it looks a bit better already. Now I'm going to do the same with the next two columns, but I can do them both at once by selecting both and just dragging the width of one to about there. And then if I click on both headings, I can apply wrap text and I can center, and that looks better already. I think the other headings would look better if they were to also be centered and perhaps vertically aligned in the middle. So that means they float in the middle of the cell. Okay, next step, I'm going to center some of the data as well. So for the results columns, I'll highlight all of my results and choose center. And with a couple of little tweaks to other column widths, everything fits in nicely. I think that's looking good. So let's apply some colour. First of all, I'm going to highlight all of the headings and apply with the paint bucket, just go for a plain grey colour. And that looks quite good, but what you lose is the lines that divide each cell, the grid lines. So you can put those back in with borders. If I highlight the cells I've just changed the colours for, I can click on the borders menu and choose all borders, and it puts black lines between each cell. So I'll colour in some names, and this is just to make it look good. There's no particular scheme to this, but you could do boys versus girls maybe in different colours. I'll click on the borders. Maybe I'll colour these two columns so that they stand out a bit, and again you lose borders in between. So highlight that data, click borders, and finally I'll colour in the results as well, and we'll go back to some sort of blue there. Okay, so already I think this data is slightly easier to read for the human eye. The last thing I'd like to show you is how to use freeze panes, because I find it really useful. If you click on the View tab or ribbon and look for the Freeze Panes button, one of the options is to freeze the top row. Keep the top row visible while scrolling through the rest of the worksheet. So I'll click on that option, and it's locked the top row, which has my headings, where it is. So as I scroll through the different students in this group, I always know what each column refers to.